So many of you know that Maurice Johnson, who is currently playing Dr. Ted Richardson on CBS's Beyond the Gates, has been recast. And in May, we're going to see Keith D. Robinson take on the role. Now, of course, there are episodes with Maurice that have already been filmed, so we will see him in the role of Dr. Ted Richardson for several more weeks. You know, I reported on the story about his firing, and if you missed that story, check the link in the description box, okay? Because I won't go over the basics of the story. So if you don't know kind of what happened, that would be a great place to start and then come back and listen to today's episode. Well, Maurice reportedly did not like the way the story was being told by one particular blogger, Sandra Rose of sandrarose.com. And according to her, someone from his camp reached out to her via her DMs. And guess what? She exposed that DM on her blog. Before I go any further, I want to thank you for tuning in to my podcast. Check the show notes or the description box, as it's called here on YouTube, for any answers to any questions you have. I promise you, whatever question you have about me or my podcast is actually answered down there. So take a few seconds if you need to and check there. But let's get back to this. So she reported the story initially, and what Sandra, did was simply piggyback off of the Deadline story. Remember, Deadline was the news organization who originally reported the exclusive story Friday, March 21st. And she stated in her blog that these were rumors about why he got fired. Allegedly, he didn't get along with Daphne, the lady who played his wife. The other rumor was allegedly the executives weren't, satisfied with his acting skills, right? She didn't do anything wrong. I mean, there can only be one organization that gets the scoop on any story. And what happens in news or in blogging is that everyone else then reports that story. And very often, just like she did and like I did, they point back to the original scoop holder, shall we call it, right? It happens all across media, not just in blogs. So let me read to you what she has on her blog in her updated story, because she talks about this DM she received. And this is exactly what it reads. I have got it pulled up here. I'm reading verbatim, by the way. It says, "Hi, whoever manages this page has been reporting false information about Beyond the Gates' departure for Maurice Johnson. It was not due to his performance, which overwhelmingly the fans love, or a dispute with his co-star Daphne. Actually, totally opposite. Please refrain and remove any and all statements that weren't provided by the talent or CBS. They didn't put that out at all. Thanks." This is what Sandra goes on to say in her response to this DM. She says, this is what she's reporting on her blog. And again, I'm reading verbatim. She says, "First of all, sandrarose.com does not report false information. I report information that is sourced from other blogs or from credible insiders. Secondly, this is a gossip blog. Information posted here is considered to be true and newsworthy. A cast member leaving the first black soap opera in more than 30 years is newsworthy," and I totally and 1000% agree with her. Now, I want to share my thoughts on this because I have many. I never had a celebrity reach out to me and say, take the story down or delete the video or what have you. I like to think that's because I was always careful in my reporting. Because when you're reporting a story, as I said earlier, you're pointing back to the original scoop holder. And all you can do is say, like what I said when I reported on this story last week, I don't work there, so I don't know why Maurice was fired. That's one thing that covers you. But then secondly, you use the word allegedly. I mean, a part of the responsibility here lies in the lap of the readers and the listeners and the viewers. I mean, for instance, those who read Sandra Rose's blog, I read her original post. She wrote it perfectly. At some point, people who read her blog, from what I could tell, they're men and women of high intelligence. So then they should be able to differentiate between a rumor, someone saying these are the rumors, versus somebody talking about facts. As a blogger, all you can do is say, this is what was reported. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but this is what was reported. Now, if people listening, somehow misconstrue that as you being ABC News and reporting facts or whatever, then that really is on them. So in my opinion, Maurice is doing something that only C and D list actors do. What is that? Those are the ones who normally try to chase down every blog post about them that they don't like. Now, if you're posting, how great they look and how great they did, you don't hear anything about that, right? So, in my opinion, when I read her updated story that included the copy of this DM, I wonder what the purpose was, because the whole point was he was let go. And according to Deadline, it wasn't his decision, which then means it was for a negative reason. I mean, we don't know why he was let go. Maybe it was not for the reason the rumors, rather, that he didn't get along with Daphne and that they weren't, pleased with his acting. But it was for some reason. And here's something, too. One of the things I've learned as I've been reporting on celebrities now for 8 years is that A-list stars, they understand what's important and how to use their time and their resources and their team. They do not go around trying to chase down every rumor, every lie, every speculation about them, because they understand speculation, rumors, innuendo, and yes, even lies, they come with the territory of being a famous person. Just like you get to enjoy all the positive aspects of celebrity life, along with it comes the other part that's not so enjoyable. Now, I don't think any blogger should lie about any celebrity. But I've noticed in 8 years, celebrities only reach out to bloggers in particular when whatever it is that was reported affects his or her bottom line. And the truth of the matter is 99.9% of the stuff that's reported in blogs aren't worth celebrities' their time rather. It's not worth their team's time. So it really is futile, in my opinion, for someone in his position to go around, in this case, trying to say, his team, whoever sent the DM, trying to say, take this down, what have you. Now, I read the original Deadline story, and I checked before I came on, and guess what? It's still up, and it's still in the exact format that it was on March 21st. Deadline has not reported that they received a DM from someone in Maurice's camp asking them to take their story down. So that also speaks to, as I was saying, some behavior that is, from my observation over 8 years, predominantly that of C and D list actors. They really try to go for what they consider low-hanging fruit, which are the bloggers. Again, no blogger should lie. But when a blogger reports, this is a rumor, or this is what was reported by such and such, that's not worth, in my opinion, any actor on any level coming after. It's futile, because there will be another rumor about Maurice. And what, is he and his team going to chase that down too? it speaks to not being too busy, because when you're really, really busy, when celebrities are really busy, I'm telling you, you don't hear from these people. Again, all bloggers should be doing responsible reporting. And again, what is responsible reporting? Citing your sources. When you don't know for a fact, when you don't have firsthand information, you have to say allegedly, or make sure that your audience is aware that you do not know what you're saying is a fact, is simply a rumor, etc. And then again, as I said earlier, a part of it falls in the laps of the people who are viewing or reading. They have to be intelligent enough to know just because something sounds true doesn't mean it is, especially when someone says this is a rumor, right? I mean, that's just the way that it is. Now, let's get back to it. The point is, Maurice was fired, according to Deadline. I tend to believe, and I still do tend to believe, the rumor, okay, not the fact, the rumor that it could have been because of his acting skills, because I wasn't. I thought his acting skills were far below what they should have been for the scenes. Now, I'm not an acting coach. I'm not an expert in acting. And so I think all of us understand the basics of when you say your lines, they have to come across as believable. His did not to me. And as I said, there are others who I feel need to be recast as well. You know, if you're just going to rotely go through your lines without any color to them, then generally speaking, that's a recast, or a recast that needs to happen. But at the end of the day, you know, this is Maurice's, you know, life, and he has a right to reach out to whomever and request, or his team, and request, you know, for something to be taken down or something, what have you. But I really question what the purpose of that is, because I'm telling you guys from 8 years of experience, it doesn't do any good. Because let's just say Sandra takes that down, but then later, let's just say something comes out about Maurice, and 15 blogs report on it. Are they going to reach out to all 15? I mean, do they have that kind of time? Is it worth their time? Especially when the people are specifying this is a rumor. You can't say don't talk about the rumors. I mean, that doesn't, I mean, this is still America, at least right now. Right now, free speech is still a thing. No one has a right to lie. With free speech comes responsibility. We all know that. But at the end of the day, when I saw on her blog that she had received this DM and the contents of the DM, to be honest, I was quite surprised, because the DM really didn't make any sense. If you saw her original story, I mean. She didn't report anything, you know, that Deadline didn't report. And again, to my knowledge, Deadline's story is still up. And to my knowledge, Deadline has not said they received anything from his camp asking them to take their stuff down. So at the end of the day, we will eventually find out why Maurice was fired and replaced with Keith. Now, if it comes out that it really was for one of those two reasons, then that's going to cast a lot of doubt on Maurice in the future. That's why I don't think these celebrities should respond to this stuff. I think they should just move on. Because how many times, I mean, I know from experience, you report on a story, you report what the celebrity says, they deny it. No, it's not true. It never happened like that. And then maybe 2 months later, a secret recording comes out or a text is released where it was exactly what was reported. And then they come out and say, I'm so sorry. You know, I was just, you know, whatever. Or their PR person tries to spin it some way. That's why it's really best, I think, unless, like I said, it's affecting a celebrity's bottom line, which most of these things don't, just ignore it. So what? Just like they talked about how great you look, now they're talking about speculation about why you were fired. It comes with the territory. I don't even think it's a big deal. And I definitely don't think it was worth his or his team's time, unless they just got that kind of time. And who knows, maybe he does. So that's my opinion. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Beyond the Gates Recap podcast. I'll talk to you on the next story. Bye, guys.